The following program is rated TV mature and features mature themes such as ex-drug addicts, gore, and swearing. Viewer discretion is advised. Seriously, it's really weird. You've been warned.
Welcome back to 7 Gram Rocks, the show where we bring people on to promote their material. I interrupt them constantly, and then I go home and bang out what I bang best. I'm your host, Harvey Spleen. Our next guest has starred in many works such as Star Wars, The Pawn Shop Strikes Back, and Rescuing Corporal Brian. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Waltert. Waltert, baby, good to have you on tonight.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, so you're a legend in Jollywood. Everyone knows that. Everyone. You're a rock star, a real champion.
I mean, that's just what people say. I wouldn't really claim that about myself.
Right. But what the people really want to know is, when was the last time you burned down a village after a summoning ritual went completely awry and brought forth Ornock to rain hellfire upon innocent people?
I don't know what you're talking about, Harley. Who is Ornock?
You know, that time you were in Idaho.
I can't say I've ever been to Idaho.
Come on, man. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You think I can't see your memories? I've opened up my chakras, bro. My fifth eye can peer right into your mind and see every single second of your life.
I really don't have any idea. Look, can we just talk about my new movie?
Yeah, okay, fine, sure. All right, whatever. So, your new movie. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So I'm starring this really off-the-wall indie film about a warrior that hails from the lost city of Atlantis.
Oh yeah, I've been there before.
Are you sure? I don't think anyone in this day and age has, if it even existed in the first place.
Of course it exists. I was just down there the other day. I had a 40% off coupon to blow, so I got some toilet paper and some cream for my dick.
Do you mean CVS?
Yeah, that's what you said.
I said Atlantis. You know, the city that was swallowed by the ocean.
Listen, don't assume I'm some idiot, okay? I know about the ocean. I've swam in the ocean. I am one with the ocean. I've absorbed the power of Cthulhu and become an all-powerful deity. Some have asked how this was even possible, and I just tell them, it's me, man. I'm a greater being than most in this mortal realm.
Okay, then. Anyways, so my character is being forced to live his life in the U.S. after the downfall of his civilization, and it's just really something to behold. It's a really great story about falling and getting back up on your feet, and I really loved being involved.
Oh, man, you know what I just love? This vibrant aura that is just radiating from you right now. It's just like in my face, man. It's just blinding me right now. How do you even develop that ability? Like, come on, everyone, give it up for this guy's aura.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, everyone.
So, let me ask you this. How does one become a warlock?
What?
You know, like, do you ever just want to blow up people's faces with a magic scepter? I mean, I already know how to do that, but I want to know your perspective on it.
Did I come to the right show?
Hey, Walter, bro. This is my show, all right? My show. If I ask you how to practice dark magic, you answer my fucking question.
Wait, do you think I'm a warlock?
God damn it, Waltert. You are really testing me here, man. You think you just walk out here and host this show? No, you can't. Only I can. Me. I'm the king here. I am the most dominant being in this galaxy. I have eaten the heart of Zeus and become one with the mountains. I have traveled through time and invented fire. Me. Not you. Me!
I don't think I want to do this interview anymore.
Okay, all right. One last question for you, and then you can return to whatever boring life you lead. Let's just say in a hypothetical situation that I've developed the ability to teleport just by blinking, like that show about that hot gypsy chick.
Okay.
And let's say again, hypothetically, that you went home tonight and had sex with your wife and got her pregnant.
Excuse me?
Just stay with me here, man. So all of that happens, yada yada, blah blah blah. 9 months later, you two give birth to a healthy and powerful, happy child. When do you think would be the best time for me to jump in and take it?
Are you actually suggesting that you would kidnap my firstborn? This is outrageous.
The ancient ones demand the sacrifice of a strong child. This isn't a game, Waltert. How else am I supposed to ascend to the cosmos and prove my worth? Like, if you could use a fraction of my brain, you would see exactly what I'm talking about, man. I need that kid.
I am going to fucking kill you.
You really think you could hurt me with that thing? I mean, come on, man. Have you been paying attention at all? I have the energy of 1,000,000 suns within me. I have flown into the Earth's core and had my way with it. I have partied with Odin, Satan, and Buddha all in one weekend. And let me tell you, that one was a rager. I am your undoing, your reckoning, your deliverance. And in 9 months' time, I will become the most powerful being in existence.
Shut the fuck up!
Feel better? You killed one person. I could kill the entire audience in a single breath. I am the Infinity Gauntlet, bro.
You are unbelievable, Harvey. You know that? I can't believe I signed up for this. And I swear to God, if I ever see you again, I'm going to put a bullet right in your... Do I hear sirens?
Breach! Go, go, go!
Marvel Police, hands where I can see him. Come
Marvel
on!
Police, everyone freeze!
Marvel Police, nobody move!
Ah, Christ, not this again. Cut to commercial. Cut the feed. Cut the goddamn feed.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you breaking news. Marvel Police have just stormed a live recording of the popular late-night talk show 7 Gram Rocks and are attempting to arrest notable host and longtime party god Harvey Spleen. Due to its graphic nature, we are unable to show you what is happening on scene, but know that it is... Huh? Yeah? Okay. This just in, folks. According to an anonymous source, Harvey Spleen has just murdered every person within the studio using only his mind, shortly before sprouting a set of black wings and flying off into the night. Channel 69's Eye in the Sky is relaying us updates as it follows Harvey. Uh-huh. What do you... This just in, Harvey Spleen is currently outside of our studio, slaughtering anyone in his path in order to cover up the incidents taking place tonight. Ha! It appears he is just outside the door. I am currently shitting my pants. We now bring you to your next program, Cold Read, a voice actors podcast.
I've got demon blood, bro.
Oh my fucking God!
Oh my God.
Wow!
So-
Hats off to that!
Holy crap. Stop raising the bar!
Never.
Oh, wow.
That was a saga and a half.
Oh
And
my God.
It's amazing. Ah,
Okay, so Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cold Read the Podcast, whether you're here live, whether you're watching us on YouTube, or anywhere that you find your podcast. That incredible intro, oh my gosh, was done by Eldurrino. Very, very well done. Yes, yes. Oh my.
Absolutely.
And Raven Main's, may I say, Raven Main's newscaster is on point. Wow.
I didn't realize it was Raven Main until I heard his cadence, and like about halfway through I went, oh, it's Raven!
Right. Got very Night Vale a few times. Awesome, says Burnham. I don't know the reference, but yeah, I mean, my goodness.
I know it.
Yeah, you know it. Whew, well,
What
let me just de-stress there for a second. How is that? 10 minutes? Is that what I'm?
Yeah.
It's 9.5. I wrote it whilst at work on like Thursday, I think, because like I was telling you guys about this character voice that I was working on for a different project that kind of mimicked Charlie Sheen.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just took the idea of him thinking, you know, he's like this great person and like he's better than everyone else, and just completely took that and went through the roof, basically, where he's trying to become the most powerful being in existence.
Oh my
he believes that Waltert, what? Sorry, Waltert is.
I want a Pop-Tart.
Great start. Great start.
Waltert is like some, you know, magical being that he's going to, you know, steal his firstborn and sacrifice it to absorb the power and whatnot. So, yeah, that's just kind of what it turned into. And then for some reason, I threw in a copyright infringement by referencing the Infinity Gauntlet, which is why the Marvel Police
shows up. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got that.
Yeah.
Nice.
You have now made your own multiverse. My God. Okay.
This is just getting worse and worse. Well, again, thank you so much. So what we normally do, if you're here, we're going to check in with everybody, see how everybody's doing. We're going to talk to Waltert. Waltert's our guest. Thank you so much for being here, Waltert. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Waltert has recently gotten some coaching, so we will get to that here in just a moment. But for now, let's check on the other side of the world, and we'll do it in order. Miss Renara Hawke, how has your week been?
Busy, to say the least. Really, really busy, because I've said it on my YouTube channel. I even put a video up saying why there's no chapter 3 yet of other things. Skywind is doing its last big push on VAs and they want us all getting it, like, our lines done within the next sort of 3 months. So it's sort of been sort of head down, go at it for basically the past week for me at the moment. They've also asked me, because they're struggling to find females with lower voices again. So they've asked me, hey, Renara, would you mind giving it a go at doing some female orc? And I was like, yeah, sure thing. I'll give it a go. It's a lot more difficult, more difficult than Dunmer is, because Dunmer's my natural speaking voice, whereas an orc, I've got to do a sort of not Charlie Sheen, Sean Connery underbite.
Sean
All
Connery.
the S's have got to sound a bit like this sort of thing. Well, I'll get into what they've asked for, but I'm waiting for my samples to get greenlit for that. But I have over about 800 lines to do for just the townsfolk alone for Dunmer at the moment. So I am just steam throughing that at the moment. That
Nice.
those words English good. But
Close
yeah,
enough.
no, it's very busy. It's the grind, and just doing as much as I can each day until I'm done.
Yeah, you're at crunch time in this project, and that's
Yeah.
always a fun time.
Yay.
Always fun.
Pashley has joined us in chat. Everybody say hello to Pashley.
Hi, Pashley.
Hi, Pash.
Hello.
I just warned her that she's got the intro next week, and she's telling me that she'll wait till Saturday to start. Yay.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Let's move on. Grim, thank you so much for guest hosting for Pashley, who's now in the chat. How are
That's
you, sir,
fine.
since the last time we talked to you?
I'm not too bad. It's far too hot over here for my liking. I've been a bit more personally busy rather than work busy. I've got family over from Ireland, which I haven't seen since the lockdown began.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of catching up since we've all now got our vaccines and they've been allowed to travel. So my week has also been busy, and everything between. I've done a bit more for Badger Missile. His project is progressing, and it's a lot of fun to do. I don't think he's posted it like for everyone to see yet, but he is working on a trailer for his project, which
Ooh.
should be really good. I've seen
Very
the
cool.
sort of prototype trailer.
And your voice is in it. Just may as
Yes,
well
it
say
is.
that.
The reason you're mentioning this is because you're in it, right? Well, very cool. Glad to hear it. I know you do a lot of the live theater stuff. Is that opening up more over on your side?
Still not yet. It's mainly because you've got the there's a university relatively near us, and they're starting to do their shows again.
Yeah.
But they are, well, they're quite a close knit group, so getting into that would be difficult. But mainly, it's still waiting for all the restrictions to be gone because
Gotcha.
just the audiences aren't there.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that'll work out, or that'll come back soon. But I'm glad that you're busy, and it sounds like a fun project. So good luck to you.
Yeah.
Look forward. Let us know when the trailer comes out. Love to have it on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eldurrino,
It's exciting.
how are you doing, sir?
Fairly good, despite all the craziness that's been going on. Just busy with a bunch of stuff, and I feel like I haven't seen you guys in like a month.
I know, right?
So
Wow.
that's
thanks.
kind of lame. No, it's been good. I've been working more on this project called Vegas Dynamite, the one that involves the voice they just heard in the intro, and so that's been going pretty well. I went back on this one project, that audio drama. I thought after doing enough research and whatnot that I could give it another go and try to give more of an audio drama narration voice. So I recorded that again. I sent it over, and they said that they didn't like it.
Oh, wow.
And what really kind of bothered me more so was that for that character, as well as another character, that I followed their instructions as to what they wanted exactly based on my original audition. For both of them, they said, we don't really know what we're looking for, but when we hear it, we'll know. And I'm like, I'm not bothering with
That's
that.
not helpful.
No,
You
not
know,
at
yeah.
all.
If you don't know what you're looking for, then I'm not going to waste my time just continuously throwing stuff in, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I was kind of annoyed by that, but I've gotten over it. It's, you know, it's whatever. So yeah, I've been doing that. I threw out some more auditions the past few weeks. I haven't heard anything back just yet, but I'm hoping that something will come my way. On top of that, I am trying to relearn 3D modeling. I've done some in the past because I want to start making, as I've mentioned before, I am very involved in like GTA 5 roleplay, and so I found out that it's pretty easy to make custom assets for it, as long as you know how to 3D model. And so, yeah, so I decided that I would give that a try and see where that goes from there. And I think it'd be very beneficial because it'd be like a nice little side project for me, aside from voice acting. So, yeah, I think that's everything. I also introduced my girlfriend to Stardew Valley yesterday, and we've been having a lot of fun. with that.
Oh, good
So-
luck, because you're going to spend days on that game now.
Well, you know, I've tried playing it by myself, and I got bored in minutes, and I started playing with her, and it's been a lot better. So, yeah, so don't play that game by yourself. Play it with someone else.
Yeah. Totally agree with you. So as far as I go, I had the huge project I had that I've been working on, I've been talking about for so much. Finally got done with it, turned it in Sunday night, and I've literally taken like the whole week off because it was just such a mental drain to get it all going and done.
Yeah.
Still waiting to hear back from them. The project was technically, the deadline was yesterday for it to be completely done. And then, you know, stuff starts getting released and we'll see what happens. If I hear more, obviously I'll let you all know. I got approached to become a narrator for, and here's an interesting one. It is a YouTube channel that focuses on the mafia. And,
Really?
Oh.
and I'm kind of
Okay.
like, I don't know if I want to do that.
What type of material are they presenting? Is it meant to be more like narration?
Yeah, it's narration,
Or
storytelling
I'm sorry,
type.
not narration, but like kind of like
yeah, it's
like
not
history.
It's not a satire. It's very direct. It's like this happened to this group, and they're looking for somebody that can say like I can't even say it now. Chiapas, Tamaulipas, all the little Mexican places. You can just use the Mexican cadence when you get to those particular words.
So more documentary.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm a little hesitant. I don't know if I want to go for it, but we'll see. What...
Yeah.
Considering
yeah,
how close I am to the border, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. It all seems very respectful. So as long as it just stays on the truth, I could see it working out okay. It's a popular channel.
Okay.
But funny enough, they reached out to me and we started talking about it, and then they put up a thing at CCC. So I was like, we'll see. Oh, I'm gonna consider, probably decide today whether or not I'm gonna do it. Other than that, I didn't get in. I haven't finished Tethras. I really need to get back into that one. I haven't done my Luke lines that they given to me. Hopefully, Rob VA out there, sorry, and we'll get to you. My throat's been sore, and yesterday I had a horrible headache, and it's like I need to make sure that I'm at 100% if I'm going to turn these in. So that's where that's where I've been. So our guest here is Waltert. You've been very patient. Thank you so much for sticking with us. So before we talk about the coaching side, let's talk about you, Waltert. Talk about yourself.
It's my favorite topic that I don't know how to do. Let's see. I actually have known Zamoody for a while. I met Zamoody way back in the Twitch Sing days, and kind of got into that. And since then, I stream on the internet. I play some Minecraft. I die a lot. It's funny, whatever. Anyway, so and then I've always wanted to do like audiobooks or some sort of voiceover type work. My whole life, I've been told two things: I have a face for radio and the voice for it too.
Nice.
So. And people tell you things, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever, it's just up your butt, right? Right. But the more, as I'm getting a little older, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm just like, it would be kind of fun. 20 years ago, it wouldn't have been nearly as easy to get into something like this as it is now, right? So we're talking about a huge investment in schooling and money and blah, blah, blah. Today, there's a totally different way of doing it. And as long as you have the time, you don't mind being a jack of all trades, you can, do a lot of different things. That's not just voiceover. That's pretty much anything you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking, I'm just putzing around, watch 100 million YouTube videos, do whatever. And I'm like, I think I'll give it a try. We'll see what happens. And then what really kicked it for me was I met this person who does the editing and stuff for Jay Muse's YouTube channel. Now, Jay Muse, if you don't know who that is Jay from Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So, and he was like, hey, you have a really great voice. Would you just record something for me? Just off the cuff, you do whatever. And I'm like, sure, fine, whatever. Yeah, it'll be kind of cool. Just fun. And so then I got on 3 of his YouTube videos, I'm doing, different voice intros for him, radio broadcaster, a therapist, whatever. So it was just fun, right? Nothing serious, but just whatever. And I got some really great responses from that.
Cool.
And I was like, maybe this is something I should pursue and check out. So I've been putting in the time and effort to see what goes on. I don't have like a long, like CV or anything like that, but things feel like they're moving in all the right directions. I'm super excited about it. And that's how we kind of came to here, right? Because I decided that, like, screw it. Let me get somebody who knows what they're doing to tell me whether or not I should be doing this.
Okay.
And, so that's where the whole coaching thing came through for me, right? So, but it was kind of an accident too, because, I mean, in this industry, especially if you're doing on the internet, the big names, right? You got Upwork, Voices, Fiverr, whatever. And I actually was on Fiverr looking for somebody to help me create a gig, right? The technical part of the, what people see, because I'm not good at that. And I'm like, I'll just pay somebody to do it, right? So, and then we'll see what happens. And this coaching thing popped up, and I was like, you know what? Maybe we'll try that and see what they say. Like, that would be kind of cool. And so I found a person that seemed like I would mesh well with, and it wasn't a lot of money. It was a half hour for like, $40 US or something like that. And I'm like, what's $40 to like know whether or not, this is something I should do. So I connected with them. We did our 30 minutes. It actually wound up being like 80 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
For the $40 that I got.
Nice. Okay, that's good.
with a, and he's saying like, you don't have to go with me, whatever. He was like, but dude, you really like just a little bit more coaching. Like you have a natural affinity for it, whatever. You just need somebody to teach you like the stuff that you don't know, because in reality, in all things in life, you don't know what you don't know. Right. So, and I'm not an expert. So I was like, you know what, let's try it. A few episodes or a few, whatever. So I signed up for 3 more lessons, an hour a piece. And I've learned so much stuff. Like things I would never have thought about when I'm reading a script, whatever it is, whether it's a commercial or, I'm reading a book or whatever. Like there's some cerebral stuff going on in the back of my brain now that didn't happen before.
Okay.
Right. Like, especially on like Fiverr, you get very limited information. Here's a script I want you to do. And now you have to figure out what's it for, because the medium is important, right? Internet is different than radio, which is different than TV. And then I learned like how to read the intent of the script, like how the words that are inside are like creating the actual picture that I'm seeing, and so how to control my voice and helping to create that image, right? Because people aren't seeing me, so you can see me now, and I'm all expressive and waving my hands around and whatever. So you're probably as antsy as I am right now, me moving around and doing whatever. But when you just hear it, it's completely different.
Right.
And so we did a couple of practice things in the first session, and then we redid them again a couple of weeks later, and they were completely different. Like, and my demo now that there's been, so I've done an actual commercial demo, and I listened to it myself with my family here at 1:00 in the morning when it came across the email.
Nice.
And I was just, that's me? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Like,
So let me back you up real quick. So this is the email that you gave me, correct? Is this the person that you've been working with?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the email that I provided.
Okay,
is
so
the
I just
coach that I hired. Right.
The link is now in the chat, and I'll make sure that we put this up when we put it live. And just I want to clarify. So you found this individual on Fiverr?
On Fiverr, yeah.
Oh.
And he's like I said, you kind of become the jack of all trades. So he not only coached me, but wrote the scripts for my demo, did the actual mixing, mastering, and production and all that sort of stuff for me. And I don't feel like I was robbed. You keep hearing that like a good demo costs you, thousands of dollars, and it didn't cost me that. And it's pretty good. I hope that like as my skills improve, that I'll be able to afford, more like maybe studio time or something like that, just so I get even better. But right now, I want to have fun and do, like I tell people, I'll do anything, right? You want me to read your erotica novel? You're going to pay me for it? I'll do it. I don't care. Like, I just want to have fun and make money at it. Like, so I don't give a crap, So, but I'm like floored at like, for what I paid for what I got. I mean, we're talking about like few $100s, not like thousands of dollars, which is super huge. And I like, for me, normally I would not feel comfortable throwing around hundreds of dollars for something, especially because I've never made money at this, right? So I'm investing. That's what this is. This is an investment, right?
Yeah.
So, but I also want to do it badly enough that I'm just like, hey, here's the credit card.
Yeah.
So you're looking at this as a goal for is this something that you want to do on the side, or is this something that you want to move into full time?
On a personal level, like it's always just been fun in the back of my mind. Like, yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. And now that I feel more validated in it, it also is like a backup income, another part-time income. I do hair for a living, and when COVID happened, I was hurting.
Yeah.
And for the last year or so, I probably have done 15% of what I normally do. And thankfully, my partner is in healthcare, so that it was made up in in that difference. But not everyone has what I have, and you can't be guaranteed that tomorrow it's going to work out the same way. So I was just looking for another way, so that if I'm stuck at home because the world is ending, what can I do that would put some money in the pocket, or help offset the money, or do whatever. And the more I think about it, if this became something that became a permanent part-time gig, or more than part-time gig, I would be cool with that.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you do?
Yeah.
I do voiceovers.
I'm a voice actor.
So, but yeah, so like, and so for me, the whole thing there was a lot of different reasons why I kind of came into it. First, it was fun and you're just kind of exploring a little bit. And then now there's the, what do you do when there's a situation where you're at home and you're not able to make money and you got to pay the bills, you got to do whatever. And, how can we be more and more creative and use that to create an income, however small? I mean, a little bit's a little bit. I make a few dollars on Twitch and it has been super helpful.
I bet.
Like, if I weren't streaming, I would have been making that money, So
yeah. So, and one of the reasons I'm sure that you were able to do is because you already had a lot of the equipment from Twitch things. You have it from your streaming stuff. So that,
well, and here's the other thing too. Like today is the cold read. I feel so honored. This is the second time you've heard my voice.
Yes.
Because you did critiqued an audition that I had done for an audiobook.
Yes.
Where I tried to be Sam Elliott, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the common thing was the editing portion, right? Like get a better mic, your surroundings are, there's picking something up, whatever. So since then I've built a booth in my basement.
That's good.
The coach convinced me that I needed a better mic, so I bought an actual mic and an interface, which I didn't have before. But like I said, investments, right? So before I did whatever, but I never would have gotten to that point to want to spend the money without having what I have now, right? That little bit that I had got me started. So I don't ever want to give the impression that you have to go out and get all this expensive stuff because you don't.
No.
I'm moving forward where I am because I had the things that I had, right? Like, and I have always hoped, and it's been working out for me, that whatever I do will pay for the next thing, right? So, and so the money I've spent, put it on a credit card, whatever, but I've earned that from the investments that I made when I started streaming and doing whatever, and all sorts of things. So, so
yeah, you're reinvesting the income that you've got coming in for you to be able to do something different. Absolutely.
Exactly. Cool. Right. Yeah. You hear that a lot of time on streamers, right? They're like, any money I make here, I'm putting back into the stream, stuff like that, whatever. So, and that's literally what I'm doing. Just, it goes, what's the next thing I need to do? What's the next step, whatever. So, super cool actually. Cause who has money like that to throw around?
Well, since you talked about upgrading your mic, where were you before and where are you now, if you don't mind sharing?
So I'm talking to you on my streaming mic, which is not that great. So it's an Audio-Technica 2005 USB or something like that. Yeah, okay. It cost me, like, with the boom arm, the pop filter, whatever, it was like $100, right? And then I bought another mic, Mono, which was slightly better, but it was also USB mic. And I was doing the audiobook stuff that I had done on that microphone. Okay. And I didn't know the difference in quality until I bought the Rode NT1.
The podcasting mic. Nice.
So I got an interface, and I got whatever, and I had a little bit of help through networking with, same as I've met Zamoody and stuff, right? Knowing people on streaming, whatever. And I'm on this new Minecraft server, and the guy who heads it is an audio guy. He makes his living on Spotify. So and I was like, hey, do you think you could invest a few minutes and help me out? He's like, dude, I'd be happy to. So he helped me set up the stuff, and I didn't know I had to download software for the interface and do all this, whatever. The box never told me that, right? So and once I got it all set up and I started listening back to my voice, there was a huge difference. Like I sounded more svelte. Like this, what you hear now is still crap.
Right.
Like when I get out of that thing, oh my God.
And we have your demo. We're gonna listen to it here in just
in a few.
Nice.
I know I'm super curious about coaching. I know Renara's taking notes too. I'm sure. I mean, it's we've always said that it's, if you can't, because you always want to be learning, you want to take classes, you want to expand, you want to practice. And if you can't take classes, then read. And if you have time, go with the coaching route. So, so you talked to this person on Fiverr, Michael.
MichaelKussmann. I had lots of questions too, right? Because I'm investing money and I don't know what to expect and what am I going to get for my money and all that sort of thing. It was very cool about communicating with me for like a whole day, back and forth, just answering my questions. And I think he understood that, like, if I'm going to be making this investment, I need to know what I'm getting from it. Right. Yeah. And he did a really great job of outlining, what he really does for you. What does coaching do for you? What is he offering? Right. Versus like maybe what you might get through, if you go someplace and they do it, or if you hire somebody who does vocals specifically, or whatever, because that's singing, right? And that could be cool and it's helpful, and you can increase your range and do whatever. But that person can't tell you that you sound like a frog on a commercial where you need to sound like that Svelte Barry White guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, so so like, go to the pro for what you want. So he was very cool about that. And then when I did my first session, it was really kind of more of us getting to know each other a little bit, like how we communicate and, whatever. And it was done on Zoom. So that was interesting. And he just started with, I wrote this script for you. I just want you to read it for me. No pressure. Just try to relax. You do whatever, and just let me just kind of get a feel for, where you're at. And I had sent some previous stuff, right? I sent that audition I did for the audiobook. I sent a couple of, different things. I'd done a mock-up Jaguar commercial for another streamer friend of mine who does editing for a competition that he was in. So I'd done, the voiceover for that. So I sent that file, whatever. And these are all purely unedited. And so just to give them a feel of where I'm at, right? So they come into it with a little bit of an understanding as to where I am. And for me, that was nowhere, right? And I'm completely amateur, don't know what I'm doing. I'm just being like, reading whatever. And so I did some reads, and then I got some really great feedback on that stuff, right? So one of the benefits for me is that I love to read. Okay. So, and I read out loud to my kid almost every night.
Nice.
So I have a little bit of a natural feel for maybe like some cadence stuff, but you can hear what I'm talking to you. I talk really fast, right? My mouth is going a mile a minute. Right. So I tend to hurry, and when I read myself, I speed read, even for enjoyment, like I'm really fast. So, and my mouth likes to do what my brain does. Right. So that was one of the first things he pointed out. It was like, we got to get your tempo down where you feel comfortable talking slowly.
Nice.
Right. And he's like, and draw it out in your brain. Like, he's like, give me little things. Like, he's helping me. He's like painting pictures for me so I could understand how I'm supposed to feel while I'm doing this. Right. And he's like, talk so slow you think I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Right. So, and for me, I'm talking like that. But then when I listen back to the recording, it's perfect, right? You can hear exactly what I'm saying. The articulation is better. The nuances in my voice are coming across better, So he's working with me, and he's just little things, like little stuff, right? And he's like, all right, so when you want to be authoritative and you're in control, we don't talk upward. Right, we don't inflict up in our voice when he was like, you hear commercials and advertisements and they're all like blah 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 blah, and they put these upward inflections. But when they want to be serious and you want to be taking as like the expert in the authority, you want to reflect downward.
Yeah.
Don't talk quieter. Just roll the sound down, right? So I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
Sort of
right.
thing.
So and he's like, so you're like bread. Right. So like, and so I'm practicing these things, right? And I'm like, I'm aware that I'm on the camera with him. I'm like, okay. And I'm like preparing myself for all these different whatever. So, and now I'm learning how to control my vocal box when I'm speaking, but like, even like how you're tilting your head, your chest, the way you're sitting. I like to stand for some things when I'm recording, and like to sit for other things when I'm recording, just because that relaxation comes across in your voice that you don't realize when you're talking. When you're inside your own head, you don't hear all that stuff. But when you're recording it and you play it back, it's completely different, right? So now I'm learning all of this stuff that I had no idea, right? And now I'm learning, in addition to that, like how to look at a script. Is this script for, what is it for? And when it's for a specific thing, you want to, adjust the way that you speak, right? Radio is fast. You don't have time on the radio. You got 15 seconds to get that nose down.
Yep.
Right.
I can't do that.
In my brain, I only think of that Micro Machines guy. Remember that Micro Machines commercial?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And that's the disclaimer on any auto commercial now when they're selling cars. They're like, HR fees are so nice, $1,600 a month, right? And you're like,
Easy supply.
But TV is slow,
Right.
because it's accompanied with images, and your voice is only designed to enhance the images that you see. It's not about what they hear, right? It's about your voice bringing in more. And again, I didn't know that, but now with these couple of lessons, I watch TV in a completely different way. I listen to radio commercials in a completely different way, and that's natural, by the way. Like when I started doing hair, I started being critical of everybody's hair, right? Without even thinking about it. I'd be watching television and be like, why'd they do that to her? That's horrible. You know? So, or that color is awful for her skin tone, or, you know, whatever, right? So, and I just do it naturally. And people hate watching movies with me now because I'll be like, that's the worst hair for her. That doesn't in any way fit her personality. Like, you know, so I rolls over to everything, right?
Yeah,
like,
I recently started doing that with Rose because we were watching some animated thing or whatever, and it's like by the way, John Machida is the name of the Micro Machines guy. Thank you, Meg Morta, and I also looked it up. But okay, well, I totally see what. So I have to ask, because normally I've been told to always check the qualifications of a coach. Did you have an opportunity to do that?
I did my own little bit of whatever. It was on Fiverr, right? So like, how serious can it be, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but there are pros on there.
Yeah.
They hide behind other names.
Right? I think they have to. I think there's
So there are, you can be rated as a pro too, though, right? So like, I don't know if you're familiar with who Bill DeWeese is, but he's on Fiverr, and he's huge. He's done national commercials, TV.
That sounds familiar.
I'm trying to think. I can't remember the other name of the other person who's pretty popular too.
Right.
But I mean, they're on there, but they can like hide behind a username or whatever, right? So so I look up this person, and he uses his full name, and he's from Canada, and like kind of like in, you know, straight up from me, because I'm in Western New York. So so it was convenient as time zone wise. But he has a YouTube channel, he had, you know, whatever. So I'm listening to this stuff. And then what really sold it for me in this particular situation was when I heard a commercial that I hear on the radio here in my town.
Oh, okay.
He did the commercial for this group, that, you know, this organization in my city where I live. And I was like, oh my God, I've totally heard that commercial, right? So now like, his credibility went from like maybe to like, okay, sure, yeah, I believe anything you say.
You're doing it. Okay, talk me, show me.
Right, exactly, right. So, but you know, and that was important for me, I guess, in a way to connect and relate in that way. I needed something, right? If he had never had any, and even like, if I still would have done it if I hadn't found that, right? But if he had not had a YouTube channel where there was some demos or some way to show me what his voice does, then I probably wouldn't have done it either, right? Because you need to work with somebody who knows what they're doing, right? Like I watch you guys every single week, and you're all like, we're not pros, or now we're pros, or we're semi-pros, or, you know, whatever it is that you are. But you're talking about your experiences.
Let me clarify that real quick, because I know that was brought up last week. So I never claim to be an expert, but I do claim to be a professional. There's a difference there.
You're a pro, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Professionals get pro. You can't be like, I think you said it last week, you can't do voiceover Olympics now.
Yeah.
Because you've made money at this.
Somebody got the joke. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Of course. So I totally understand it, right? So everything I have done is free so far. I'm totally cool with it. I just love that my voice is out there and I'm doing different things, and it helps me feel like I could do things I didn't know I could do.
Yes.
Because I'm not being paid for it. So there's no pressure to like, you know, do the best, you know. Even the intro, like Eldurrino's voice versus my voice is like, you know, I try to just be natural and cool and calm, and, you know, I could feel this like totally different character coming from him. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if I did this like he did for like a year and just practice like that, like how cool would that be, that my voice would be, you know, so much more, it would connect more with the story and do whatever. But at the same time, I'm also thinking to myself, this is an experience for me because I've never done this, right? So I'm in my booth recording in my own head, thinking what I thought that voice was going to sound like coming from him, which wasn't what it was, by the way. But, you know, I'm trying to respond in a way that I thought that was going to happen. And then he took my sound and mixed it with his sound and created a story, right? Which is just phenomenal. It was so cool.
I mean,
fortunately, like that, as far as like your self slash character goes, it was meant to be more casual, you know.
Right,
'Cause
sure, right.
Characters on a talk show, they're there to promote their material. They're supposed to be pretty relaxed and whatnot. But you also have to contrast that against this other guy who is very manic and off the wall and whatnot. So, and then all of a sudden it just reaches a point where he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm gonna blow your brains out right here on national television," you know? So
it was really fun, and I like to imagine what people think if they hear me doing these recordings, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What the hell is he doing down there?
Well, and I've got new neighbors next to me that I swear must hear me because I could hear them drilling and stuff. And you know, I'm in because my booth is right here. I'm in the booth at like 2, 3 in the morning, screaming my brains out. Yeah, I'm gonna get that knock at some point, or it's just gonna be like,
That's another thing too that I'm learning through coaching. I figured this out. I wouldn't have known that otherwise. But I need to do most of my recording when everybody's sleeping.
Yeah,
and I'm a nice person, so it's okay. But the reason for that is that my booth is very small, and I had some microphone issues. I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. So when you're talking, vapor is coming out of your mouth. My booth is like 3x4, right? Like it's not very big. And I have a microphone boom arm, whatever. That takes up 2 feet. And then there's me. I'm at least 2 feet wide, whatever, right? So like there's no room really. But then it gets really hot in there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Really fast, right? So in 20 minutes, I'm like sweating, I'm doing whatever. And the condenser microphones can be sensitive to too much humidity because of the way they work, which I'm also learning, right? Didn't know anything about that until recently. So the humidity can cause it to just stop working, right? Because the nodule or whatever doesn't do its job. So I got to open the door and blow it out and get my breath out of there, you know, lower the humidity, bring the temperature down, and I can record again, whatever. So if I do it at night, though, when everybody's sleeping, I can just leave the door open. And then, you know, I don't have that issue, and I can work for, you know, an hour, 2 hours, whatever I want to do without, you know, making a difference. Because when I was recording during the day through the demo, I had to keep that door closed because, you know, I live on a dead end street, but there's still noise and life happening out there. Right. So, and the garbage truck was coming by, and kids were ringing the doorbell, and you know, do whatever. Like, it's just the way it goes. So they're constant interrupts. So I had to keep that door closed, and so every 20 minutes or so, I'd be like, I need 5 seconds to cool it down. So, but again, that's something that could be improved with a little bit of money that I'll hopefully make from doing voiceovers. That will fix that, right?
The professional ones, the professional booths have the air circulation system, and they have all the noiseless stuff.
Well, and I've been researching that, and you could create these vents that have these like sound whatever that come like in at the bottom, and it sucks out at the top, so it's pulling the hot air out and giving you cooler air from underneath and doing whatever. And they're sound friendly, you know, for your booth or whatever. But I'm not that handy to build it, I don't think. I mean, maybe someday I have the tools now, so maybe I'll be like, we'll give it a shot, we'll see what happens, right? But mostly I want to be like, let me make some money and hire somebody and be like, do this thing. That's how I like to live my life.
I'll tell you what, I'm not too,
I don't want to.
I was gonna say, I'm not too far away from you, so you know, I'll send you my rates later, and you know, we'll talk.
Cool.
Nice.
I also have a soffit that needs to be replaced in the back of my house. You do that kind of stuff?
Can't do that, but I could build you a booth.
Burnham says condensers don't like condensation. Ironically, this is also very true.
I'm now worried about my own microphone.
There's no instruction manual in that way that like is like, hey, be careful with whatever, right? There's not even really a lot of YouTube videos. I had to find a solution and figure this out because I was reading like 8 million Reddit posts and finally found somebody who figured out that that's what the problem was. And I did a test based on what they had said and was able to determine that that's my problem, right? Because up until then, it was recommended by my coach, and he's like, "Oh my god, I've never had a problem with this device. People love these. I feel so bad that I made you spend this money, and you're having this issue. It wasn't the microphone's issue. It's the fact that I blow too much hot air."
Interesting. The one thing you would never think of.
You said it, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a listen to the demo if that's okay with you, Waltert. I'm
Sure,
super
yeah.
curious. How this
Like
is
I
gonna...
told somebody, I can't be shy.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
And the other thing is that you have to learn to like your voice, and I think we're all
Yes,
still working on that.
I'm getting there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, and then we'll go around the room and we'll give our thoughts. So we'll start with Renara and then Grim, and we'll go from there. All right, 3, 2, 1.
You don't have to be a Wall Street superhero to make smart investments. Whether you're a DIY kind of investor or prefer a more professional approach, Questrade has you covered. Questrade. It's time to switch. Luxury. Reimagined. Power. Revolutionized. And designed for the thrill ride of your life. The 2021 Mercedes-Benz C-Class. When David Tran came to America as a refugee, things got a little spicy. Spicy and tasty. For spicy and tasty, you want America's #1 hot sauce, Sriracha. In 2021, your cybersecurity and online privacy have never been more at risk. Norton 360 provides powerful layers of protection for all your devices, all in a single solution. To protect your PCs, Macs, tablets, and phones, trust Norton 360 Security.
I see Eldurrino shaking his head. No, it has ended, by the way. So.
Okay.
All right.
I was making notes. God damn it.
Yeah. All right, Renara, let's start with you.
Oh God. Okay. When you hit your lower register, when you start to relax into your lower register, the grumble starts to make it a little bit less. I can't hear quite what you're saying. When it gets like really low and it kind of like, I can't do it. But there's that such a relax that we lose some phonetics.
Yeah.
It's the vocal fry.
Yeah.
Right. So I've learned I don't mean to cut you off, but since that happened, like you're bringing it up. So, but I've learned that my voice actually is lower than like most registers. So when you talk about like how the equalizer works on the hertz or whatever, most low around 85 or so. Mine actually goes down to 65, and the sets for that cut that off. It rolls off, right? So that's one of the reasons why you can't hear it, because it's pushing it downward. Yeah. And since this has been recorded, someone figured that out with me, and we've been able to modify my equipment so that it allows for that. So now when I have that, low stuff, it does come across much more clearly. But yeah, like when I heard this, I was thinking the same thing too. Like I was like, it's really cool, but it feels like it's like going out sometimes on the bottom, right? Like in the lower register.
I was going to say, like, the third one out of all of that was your clearest. I'd say hands down. It had the most emotion in it. I chuckled. I enjoyed it, and I think that's one of the main things. And then the one straight after that, you went back into your lower register, and it felt muffled again. And I think you got to be. I think it wasn't to do with just your lower register. It was the amount of air you were pushing out when you were speaking. And I think on a couple of them, when you start the sentence, it comes a little. It's not it. They say to do it in singing, like make sure that the first thing you say, you mean it, and that it comes out clear as the rest of it should be. And I think you're suffering from something that goes like like that. Right. Okay. Your beginning kind of is a little sound, but the rest of it's great. And then you cut yourself off again a bit too early. You want it to be a straight line rather than a curve. And I got taught that through my own singing coaching, because they always tell you to make sure like the first word is heard by the audience, sort of thing. So that's where I learned that sort of thing.
Sure.
Other than that, I agree with the fact that like you've got a natural sort of cadence for things. It's interesting. I think you've just got to be careful with, again, what register you're speaking in, and if it's softer, to make sure maybe enunciate a little bit more. Make sure that you're adding in other areas if you're taking away in other areas, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they balance the scales, as it were.
Yeah.
That is all I have to say.
Thank you. Grim.
Yeah. The main things I can provide with my experience is a lot of acting stuff. But first, with the deep voice, I completely get the disappearing on the deeper end. Because I've come across this in theatre acting, is often I get picked for narrator roles. And just like Renara said, if you don't say it with your chest, if you don't have that first word come out full force, then you won't grasp the audience. But I think something I noticed, which you'd mentioned earlier, is you tend to be quite fast-paced. Again, this is something I come across as in I do a lot. And I think, as in, I don't know your directions for those pieces, but I think the last one could have been slower. Especially as it was meant to be the more serious one, talking about safety, personal safety. That was the one that could have been a little extra slower. Maybe if the project allows, finding those natural pauses between sentences just to put emphasis and things like that.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Thank you, Grim. Dorino, any
No
notes?
Okay, first thing, do not trust Norton 360. Secondly, so in regards to the Mercedes one, again, I can relate to this as well as Grim because we do have naturally deeper voices, and when it comes to the roll off of certain words, such as the word power, in order to make sure that comes out as clear as possible, as Grim had said, it's really about breathing from your diaphragm. So most people, when they think about breathing, they think about their stomach expanding and contracting. You want to do that up in your chest instead. So like when you know you have a word that's going to be maybe deeper than your natural voice, or even it works both ways. Like, the deeper you go, the more breath you need. The higher you go, the more breath you need.
Right.
So it's all really about working out your chest. So, if you're trying to say the word power, just to kind of make sure that the entire word comes out with the same clarity.
Sure.
Definitely a good thing to work on. I don't know if your coach has talked to you about breathing exercises as far as that goes.
I asked to be lined up, but it was like down, like on the importance level,
Yeah.
Yeah, and like if you have any musicianship experience, a lot of that can be applied to acting as well. Inhale to the top of your lungs for 4 seconds, exhale to the bottom for 8. All of those exercises will correlate. In regards to the Norton one,
You're salty, Eld.
I see that.
Look, I work in IT, all right? I can say these things. In regards to that one, and this comes from an IT perspective, it was almost too, what's the correct word to use here? It was almost too serious, I guess. And I don't necessarily mean that it was like, buy our product kind of serious, but when you think of security, you want to have more of a entrusting tone, so maybe just a little bit more like of a friendly tone, like instead of Norton 360 can provide you with blah blah blah, you say Norton 360 can kind of work a little bit of inflection in there, just to kind of make your voice a little softer and more trusting, because when it comes to cybersecurity, people want to make sure that their stuff is protected. I mean, the same thing would go with like home protection. You want your voice to sound like someone you can trust. It really will grab the listener, and they will immediately tune or pay attention to what you have to say. So otherwise, I think
NordVPN.
I think as far as the rest of it goes, though, I think the tone and the pronunciation on everything matched really well with each product that was advertised. Especially enjoyed the third one about sriracha. Like I like those type of commercials that are very kind of goofy and uplifting, free spirited, whatever. So Yeah, overall, I think you did a really good job on that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, I mean, and take all of our advice, obviously, with a grain of salt. I mean, this is what we would have wanted to hear.
No, exactly right.
Yeah. Personally, I loved it. I would have much rather your voice be more prominent versus the music. I thought the music and the voice were kind of too level. I would have personally asked for the music maybe to be a little lower so your voice can be front and center. Everything else has pretty much been said. I've got maybe a higher voice, I think, out of everybody, but I can do the lower registers one, so I totally understand what you're talking about with the equalizing. Love to hear what the next one's going to come out with. So super curious about that. Because you said he wrote it. This was your coach who wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
So good to know. If anybody's working on a demo, obviously it's okay to use actual brands. So that's something I've always been curious about. And it's good that you had something in paper, and I'm sure you had some examples to go with as you were putting it all together. So it's very, very cool. I think all in all, great. Last question I was curious about, did he offer the demo as part of the package, or is this something that you did separate?
No. Yeah. So I just happened, when I was doing my research on, who he was and what he did or whatever, I noticed that he also offered production skills. And so I inquired about that. That was actually one of the first things that I had asked before I even talked to him about the voiceover coaching. I was just like, what exactly does that mean? What do you get for that? Like, how does that work? And how many hours of work does that wind up being? Like, whatever. So, and for the money that I was spending, I wanted it to be, I mean, I knew I was spending less than people were telling me it should cost, but I also, and
still want to get your money's worth.
Right, exactly. So I also know, like, I don't want to get like walked on, like, you know what I mean? So, I was, but when I decided to do that, I used the coaching as a gauge as to whether or not I was going to hire him for the demo.
Right.
If that makes sense, right? So, because the demo was the most expensive thing. And
interesting. Okay.
So, but I'm glad, like, I'm super happy that I did it, right?
Yeah.
So, and even like, and I also know I'm new, right? So, but now I feel like this gives me a little bit of an edge over maybe some people who haven't done something like this.
Yes.
So I have a little bit more that I can, like, prepare myself with. And I also have, if I have a script or something that I'm auditioning, I also have a point of contact where I can go and say, hey, could I hire you to coach me through this audition for a half hour just to make sure that I'm getting what I think it is that they're looking for.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's good to have another voice and a trained ear, really, because I don't have a trained ear, and self-directing is very hard.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you can't be you're biased at yourself. You want to be right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So, or even overly critical sometimes, right? Where you're like, I'm just not getting, something's wrong with that. What is it? I can't figure out why that sounds so crappy.
Right.
So I, having not made any money doing voiceover or whatever, I would still, like, anybody, if you have the ability to try it out just to get a feel for it, whatever, I would recommend it, certainly. But I mean, do what you need to do as a person. If reading out loud works better for you right now to get you prepared, then make sure you're doing that. Or if there's things you could figure out for free, there are a bazillion YouTube videos. I love them all. They're all helpful. Advice is advice, and most people speak from their experience. Their experience might be different than your experience, but in knowing what their experience is, you are more prepared.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so when something does happen to you, you're like, oh yeah, I saw a video on that. Like, so I'm the kind of person my whole entire life that no matter what I did, I wanted to be the expert at it. Right.
Right.
So, and it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something.
Right.
And 2 hours of video watching counts towards that 10,000 hours. I mean, it's still 2 hours of experience. So, do what
watch
you gotta do.
more YouTube videos. Got
it. Like we need an excuse, right?
I also feel too that, like, the coaching gave me a better feel for direction. Now, like I said, I'll do anything at this point, but I wanted to do audiobooks. That was the original goal. I learned more about that and about how you get paid in voiceover work,
the royalty share, and the project.
And I didn't know that while it would be really cool, it should be something you're doing in between. So for me now, I'm going to focus on trying to get the voiceover jobs, commercials, e-learning, whatever, because they pay well. But then you could do audiobooks to fill in when you're not working on the voiceover jobs, because while they're more of a gamble when it comes to the pay, right?
Yeah.
So, and even if you get paid flat out, you're still doing all the work for $100 an hour, $200 an hour, whatever it winds up being. But in voiceover work, when you're like, I just learned this, you're more selling your rights more than your voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get more money for the rights to use your voice than you do anything else.
And I will note that your rates are generally per finished hour.
Right, exactly.
So
Per
that's
finished
the
hour,
difference.
which means record it, listen to it, fix it,
Edit it. Yep.
master it, do it. Like it's a lot of work. Yeah. Although on that note, because it's just a follow-up, if I could really quickly.
Yeah, of course.
When we did the audition for the whatever, I've never heard back from them. I've done 20 auditions or whatever, and I've heard back from 19 of them, just not that one.
Lucky.
However, I have there's an author that I like from Australia. She writes young adult fiction. She's a best-selling author, and I follow her on Twitch because she plays like war games and stuff, and she's hilarious, and I enjoy her very much. She posted a short story that she had written for a competition. I connected with it really, really deeply, and I decided to narrate it, and then I sent it to her.
Nice.
And I was like, this might be a little weird, but I read your story and I connected, and I want to do narration, and I just thought maybe you would enjoy hearing it, right? From somebody else, whatever. She freaking loved it. And now in a couple of weeks, I have a test read to do narration for her book that she's going to turn into a podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll do a test read, in a couple of weeks or whatever, and then that will be like a weekly thing for me to do for a while.
Nice.
I'm super excited about, and I don't even care if it's free. Like, it's just experience, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Don't be afraid to reach out to people. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Give me stuff. Right. Like this. And I did. I was really worried. I was like, I'm gonna like feel it, like be perceived as like some weird stalker dude. Plus, if I were writing, it might be weird for me to hear my work come out of somebody else's voice.
Right.
Right. Come out of their mouth. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And my concern, and I asked her, I was like, if you could just give me some feedback, like, did I catch the tone that you were looking to that you were writing? Like, is my voice and the way I'm presenting the story the way that you intended that story to be felt and read? And apparently that's exactly what it was.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so a little bit of putting yourself out there, a little bit of risk with a little bit of reward, so
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty cool. So I'm excited about that. And for sure, I will share whatever else happens, because now I can't be shy about anything.
No, cannot be shy.
100%.
Yep.
And it's super good that you put yourself out there, and it's paying off. So this should be a lesson to anybody who's listening: is don't be afraid to take a chance. I mean, you never really know what's going to happen.
Yeah. True.
So we're at our hour mark. Walter, thank you so much for being here.
Of course,
Co-host,
thank you for having me.
any last questions for Walter before we move on? Yeah, Eldurrino.
But they disappeared. No, to do with audiobooks, I do a lot of audiobook stuff. So if you ever wanted to, we can talk about stuff and things like that. So if you ever got any questions about audiobook stuff, just send them my way. That's what I'll say.
Do that.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Eldurrino.
My question is, and for serious this time, how does one become a warlock?
I've only been a warlock in World of Warcraft.
That still counts.
that
It still
counts.
counts.
Yeah, so it just is as easy as picking that character.
There you go.
Starting. Very
Back
fine.
the button.
Yeah.
Leroy.
Yes, exactly.
I think this was very informative for anybody who's considering doing the coaching thing. Once again,
Yeah.
I will post your coach's email address if anybody's.
Yeah. He's very cool, very likable, easy to get along with. So
Nice.
yeah, by all means, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, this is good to know. And then I'm sure you all can discuss rates. Let them know that you heard them, that Waltert recommended you, just for that little extra little in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we learn, don't be afraid. Put yourself out there. Do those auditions. What's next for you, Walter? Where are you going to go back to Casting Call Club? What are you thinking?
So I'm working with the coach to get a gig up and ready to go. So the goal is to just try to get some things in Fiverr. I'm using all of my social media and all of my internet presence to let people know that I'm willing to do jobs. And if you're going to hire me for something, I'm going to push you to Fiverr so I can get some positive reviews.
Nice.
You know what I mean? No matter what it is, I'm just gonna be like, just buy it over there. Just do it. So I can get some positive reviews and get things moving along. And I hope that within the next couple of months, I'll get a couple of good experiences in. And then once that has happened and I'm familiar with the process and how it works, the plan is to get my demo out to some production companies and see if I can get on some rosters. So
nice.
Cool. Yeah.
So you have a clear plan, and that's always really, really important.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Put the plan out there. Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you everybody for being here. If you have any topic or any questions for us, please email us coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com. Again, coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much again to Walter. Thank you to my co-host Renara Hawke. Grim, thanks for being here. Eldurrino, appreciate everybody.
No worries.
Thank you all, and we will see you all next time. Time for cut. Bye-bye.
Drink water.
Bye.